Hello my dolly dearies and welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be doing another simple doll. I've been feeling in a bit of a simple mood lately. But we're going to be making a cute Decora doll. I've wanted to make one for a while and my last two Decora dolls have turned out as dragons or rams. So we're going to try and keep it a bit more simple for this one and no super fantasy elements. But without any further ado, let's get on with the video. For this doll we're going to be using a Laguna Blue as a base. I've only used a Laguna once before and I absolutely loved how she turned out, so it'll be good to see again with this one. But to begin, we'll take some sharp scissors and clip her hair as close to the head as possible. She also had a weird hole in her head, which I'm not sure what that's for. But with all the hair snipped off, we can chuck that mushy mess into the bin. And after removing her head with some boiling water, we can take our needle nose pliers and scrape them around the inside of the head to remove all of the icky hair plugs. The glue always comes out in these horrible chunks which always gum up my pliers and they're so difficult to get out and annoying to clean off afterwards. With all of these gunky bits swept off my table and it being washed and oh my god, how did that come out of her head? We can remove her face paint and all that with acetone. I take some 100% acetone and pour it into a smaller container to dip some Q-tips in and use a sweeping motion to remove the paint from her face. Now with her all prepped, we can move on to the first step, hair. And oh boy, do I have a lot of it. I have collected some beautiful hair, all of which is from the Doll Hair Emporium, make sure to go and check them out, in all sorts of colours, ranging from pastel purples to minty blues, pale pinks and this really bright yellow. Now, of course, I had to decide which hair colour to use, which took some thinking, until I had the idea, all of them. So after a lot of pain and rerouting and about 3 hours cut forward, we've got this super cute hairstyle. I plugged lots of colours around the root and more so pink in the middle, which I felt would contrast her skin tone nicely. With all of her hair, we can take some PVA glue to coat the inside of the head. And then we can move on to clothing, because a gigantic wasp flew into my workroom and I did not want to put up with that. I made her a small little crop top with 2 little cat ears, and sewed together a bunch of different coloured panels of fabric, some of which I coloured in with Sharpie, to make her a cute little balloon skirt. All of the layers makes it look quite sweet if I do say so myself. I sketched out a small little cat face on her shirt, and took some single threads of embroidery thread to make her little eyes and face stand out more. And we've got a super cute little cat crop top, which I think goes really well with this skirt. I put some snap fasteners on each and some ribbon to keep the skirt in place. I then used a blue jacket pattern from Moonlight Jewel, I think this was her sports jacket if I remember correctly, and made her a small handbag by scrapping together some old bits of fabric. Not too shabby if I do say so myself, and it even has a little heart pocket. I then took some small gemstones to glue on the jacket to add as buttons. And with all that done, and the wasp finally out of my workroom, we can move on to the face. I take my chalk pastels to blush some base tones onto her face, going in with a palish blue to add some basics for depths on her nose, eyes, and just under her cheeks. I then go in with some more purples to add more depth and make it look like she's wearing some eyeshadow. I then take a nice pink to add some rosiness to the lips as well. I then take a pale pink to match her hair and dot it on for the eyebrows. In the blushing stage, you should never be afraid to wipe away, and I'd always leave it on the lighter side because when you spray with Mr. Super Clear, the pastels always become a bit darker. So if you go in with the mindset that they will be a bit darker and more vivid once they've been sprayed, you can try to get some better results. But with that spray done and all of her blushing, we can take some pencils to start sketching in her eye shape. I stupidly went straight in with black here, so I ended up with an eye shape that I wasn't too ecstatic with, but I ended up rolling with it and it comes out with a pretty cute little derpy fish expression. You can already see me here contemplating my choices. I sketched in the eyes to have her looking kind of up slightly, and drew in 2 little heart pupils. I added some more definition to her eyebrows with a pink pencil. And then go in and shade her lips with the same pink pencil to try and tie in the 2 colours together. I then take my purple pencil to start adding some shade to her eyes. With all the pink on her, I thought some more blue to tie in her skin tone could work quite nicely, with some slight shade added with a nice purple. I then go and darken the outside of the eyes with a dark blue pencil. I also thought about adding some hints of pink in there, but that didn't quite work, unfortunately. I go back in with my black pencil to darken her eye lines. I then take my white pencil to brighten the highlights of her eyes, her cupid's bow and nose. And then try desperately to get her eyeliner to be equal. With no more pencils building up, I took out the gouache paints and mixed up some pale purples and blues to colour her eyes in with. I tried doing a gradient, but you can see me struggling to get it right, blending it too much, blending it too little. It's an endless battle. But in the end, I eventually get a gradient which I'm very happy with, then try to copy it to the other eye. The great thing about using these paints is how crisp lines you can get. It's absolutely astounding to see how defined and perfect they can be compared to pencils, but I still kind of prefer using pencils for the nice shades you can get, and the fact that they're a lot easier to use than paints in my opinion. Of course that's different for everyone, and I've seen some amazing artists do the most amazing paint face-ups. One of my favourite dolls in my collection is actually this beautiful painted face-up from Cherry Doughnuts. If you don't already follow her on Instagram and YouTube, you should definitely go and check her out. With her eyes slowly drying, I decided to take this time to paint in some cute little accessories to her face. I add a band-aid to her nose, and then add some small little hearts and stars to her cheeks. I wanted to keep it a bit more simple and not too crowded, although I think doing a doll with a bunch of stickers and plasters on her face would be absolutely adorable. I then add some small yellow hearts to her eyes instead of irises. They do look a little derpy and fish-like, which I think is perfect for Laguna's base. And then for a final touch, I take some white gouache to add some highlights into her eyes. And then, to match her face, I of course had to cover her in band-aids, but with that, she is done! After the face-up and the photo shoot and all of the filming, I did actually end up brightening the whites of her eyes a bit, so I'll keep an eye on Instagram for some new photos of her. But I think I'm gonna call this sweetheart Mimi. As you can see, her bag was actually inspired by a cute little handbag I got myself. I think that was part of the driving inspiration for this doll, in all honesty. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, and maybe even leaving a comment down below. I think Mimi, our fish Decora doll, is absolutely adorable, and I'm pretty happy with how she turned out. If I were to make her again, there was some things I'd change, some things I'd keep the same, but all dolls are a learning experience like that. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!